episode of Whatever Happened to the Game, and this one is Whatever Happened to Halo 3. So we're going to talk about the third part of Halo today and what changed, what improved, what may have been a little bit disappointing. And joining me today is Albelio, so should be pretty fun. And
Hello. How you doing?
let's get started with news. So first part of news is I'm be playing Lord of the Rings later today. It's December, and I figured that's the month that they showed Lord of the Rings in theaters, so might as well. Might as well.
Keeping the tradition of it all.
Oh yes, 20 years later, still going. But today it's the Two Towers is what I'm going live. You're still on Order of Ecclesia?
Correct. I know I didn't get around to streaming last week, but I will be streaming tomorrow.
All right. And I do have a deal, and that is that I will play the Doom mod known as Castlevania Simon's Destiny if I reach 1K subscribers.
And
So.
you're so close.
Oh, yeah? Oops.
Yeah.
Echo cancellation is a little annoying, but I guess I just need to adjust the mic a little bit. So I'll play Simon's Destiny live if I get to 1K subscribers. About 24 to go. So previously we were at Thanksgiving, and that was Volume 1 of Whatever Happened to Halo. So that is Halo 1, Halo 2, and the Halo movies last week. Because we were off on Thanksgiving, so I premiered that instead. There will be another premiere of a collection of previous episodes for Christmas, because that will obviously be a time where we're away for holidays as well. But now to get started, Halo 3, the first Halo on Xbox 360. So yes and yes.
Yeah, this was quite the release at the time when it came out.
Well,
I remember the hype for this being huge.
Well, there was a cliffhanger in Halo 2, and Halo 2 is on the later end of the original Xbox, so there was every reason to be hyped about it when it finally arrived. That and the new Xbox 360. And of course, because it was the Xbox 360, it had Xbox Live from the start. You didn't have to do a system update like you had to do with Halo 2 for online multiplayer. So, power to the multiplayer. So, I was first going to talk about the weapons in Halo 3, and when we watched the demo footage, which I'm going to watch someone else's because I just couldn't get around to playing it with the vacation and what I had to do. But yes, they added a number of them, and some of them they just brought back from before. So the assault rifle was back in Halo 3. Obviously, there's so much more data, so many more weapons you can put into the game as elements. They took away the heat-seeking rocket, which I was all right with. I mean, it just
kind of annoying to have to deal with a heat-seeking rocket in something as simple as a
multiplayer.
Just another just a small like arena multiplayer again.
Right. It was somewhat annoying, but I feel it works because they gave the function over to what they call in this game. I call it heavy weapons, but they call it support weapons. So it's weapons that were normally attached to vehicles. So the heat-seeking missile pod, which is similar to the real-life Javelin missiles, or a missile pod on a helicopter, is how you can. Hi, Chaos. How are you doing? Is how you can do the heat-seeking weapons, campaign or multiplayer. So I don't know. I felt it was a good mix because now I mean you technically still could shoot down an area something flying if you're really good aim, but I mean, you just don't have the guidance.
Uh,
And now you just have to use a separate guided weapon to shoot heat-seeking missiles. But other than that, it was just making weapons you couldn't use in the previous Halo game usable now. So now you have all the brute weapons, even the hammer that Tartarus used at the end of Halo 2 as a boss.
mhm.
Uh, I mean, the Mauler, I'm not. I'll look at the Mauler in the Covenant weapons part, but I wasn't as impressed with the Mauler. I mean, it feels like a glorified Magnum, which is fine, but the spike rifle is the most, should I say, different of the new ones.
The spike is the one in the top right, correct? That like
That's the brute
goofy
shot.
grenade.
The
Oh, that's the
middle,
brute shot.
the one right under it is the spike rifle. I mean, the brute shot you could
Oh,
use in Halo 2 as the grenade as a bouncing grenade launcher, but the spike rifle it's essentially a nail gun. You're shooting
gotcha,
nails into people, and they really hurt.
gotcha.
It's similar to I guess you'd call it a rail gun in Quake, or a
Okay, okay.
basically. That's basically what the spike rifle is. But I mean, I felt it was a little balanced. I mean, the assault rifle, I'm glad they brought it back. I mean, the battle rifle has some long range scoping for bursts, but I feel that they kind of removed the assault rifle that you had in the first game, and now it's back here for the role in close range combat.
Hey, Shadow, how you doing?
Oops, how are you doing, Shadow? We're having fun talking about Halo 3. So I guess we'll go to the Covenant next one. Yeah, so I guess we already mentioned this. Brute grenade. The only one it doesn't show here is the spike grenade, which is kind of cool because it's a stick grenade. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference in the game, but throwing a stick grenade makes somewhat of a difference because you're essentially having a lever when you're throwing it. You have leverage when you're throwing it, so throwing it a good distance is easier with a stick type grenade. But yeah, it's a frag grenade, but it shoots a lot of sharp shards. Um, and you can also take um, the plasma cannon turret off of that's the plasma cannon, a really heavy gun, which for whatever reason is heavier than the fuel rod gun, but don't ask me why.
Yeah, video game logic.
Yeah, but it's basically, you know how you had the light reconnaissance Covenant vehicles in Halo 2, but now you can take their plasma cannon and use it. I think the reason why they did it was just have a counterpoint to taking the minigun off the Warthog, like you can do here too for support
Hmm.
weapons. So you got the Covenant version of the minigun. Um, and I was thinking of showing this here because the UNSC finally has a fighter air patrol craft known as the Hornet on the top.
Hmm.
Uh, it's the vehicle with the missile pod that you could wield if you want to, and it has a autocannon, which you cannot take off that vehicle. In this game, you can only fly a Hornet in multiplayer, but it's a fun way to go shooting at people on the ground, air to ground, um, for a vehicle like a Apache helicopter in real life.
Oh, okay.
But the thing I like the most is the fact that you can be in a real arena with a giant scarab that can step on you, which is shown in the bottom. I mean, you had the scarab in Halo 2, but you just had to jump off a bridge onto it. In
Hmm.
here, you face the scarab from the ground up. You can be down on the ground, and that thing can step on you, squash you into a bunch of pizza, or it can fire its weapons at you, which is a very big plasma cannon. So I was going to show a little demonstration of the Scarab in Halo 3. But
It looks like they ripped off Quadraxis from Metroid Prime 2.
yeah, most likely. But I felt it was good because it was just a way of showing that, look, this is Xbox 360. We can process more data. We have even bigger maps. So now we can
Oh
have a
yeah, sure.
walking scarab, like that can you can walk around it. You can get stepped on it.
And that's a Scorpion tank on fighting it.
Yes, it's trying to fight it. Although if that thing steps on a scorpion tank, the tank's gone.
Oh, okay.
Like it has the mechanics that it can crush vehicles underneath it. It can crush you underneath it, and its weapon pretty much one shots almost any regular vehicle.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get to the screen. Allow. As you can see, you're inside a base, and that thing is in this huge map.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get hit by the extra, I don't know, mother of all plasma cannons, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is campaign.
Yeah, because I don't remember this in multiplayer.
No, you can't do it in multiplayer, but this is a full arena. There's the battle rifle. Oh. But again, it's the whole thing in one big map.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect demonstration of what the Xbox 360 is.
And what was capable of at the time.
Oh yeah. Well, Opulent Halo, you did a great job at destroying that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go to Halo 3.
Kind of underwhelming. To be fair, but I'm
Right,
sure they were probably aiming for more spectacle at this point.
right. I mean, if you're on the ground, that's dangerous because, like I said, it steps on you, you're dead.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, Captain Sarun.
How are you doing, Captain? How's your Tekken? How's your Tekken playing, Captain? So this is MKS and Fire.
At the end of Halo 2, that's when Chief falls to the planet, right?
Yeah, he's when he's coming back to finish the fight. So yeah, he crashes on it. But we're
Gotcha.
back on this
Gotcha.
other
So
planet.
this is them this this is them basically being inspired by the end of Jason X.
Jason X. Oh, that was a long time ago. But I'm going to skip ahead to where it starts. Let's start with the main gameplay. So here you've got two brute pistols,
Mhm.
and yeah, these are the newer maulers or brute pistols, and you can see it's got the bayonet little thing going on it, like the brute shot did.
Yeah. You know, the hook shot that clearly was stolen from was clearly stolen from Doom Eternal, you know, as you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I will admit, Doom and Doom Eternal did do a job of getting us a new Doom after the age of Halo. I mean, Doom
Hmm.
3 played on hard, but and I do enjoy playing Doom 3, but it's not quite Doom as we used to be as a first-person shooter where it's pretty much arena shooting in the original games.
Oh yeah, yeah. They definitely wanted to push the bounds of technology,
Yep.
and frankly, Halo 3 really did too. I was always impressed by what the 360 was able to process at the time.
Oh, I was. I mean, it was like the start of the Xbox 360, and a great show of how you can get bigger maps, and like I showed with the whole scarab thing, you could get a whole scarab, not just as a mostly background thing, just go into the bridge and fall onto it, but as a genuine vehicle that you combat in the arena of the campaign.
Hmm.
I really like what they did with the textures too. I mean, it's very easy to forget the kind of textures you had with Halo 2 and how much less lower res it was without unless you turn off the high textures in the Master Chief Collection,
Mm.
because it's gotten better since Halo 2, quite a bit better.
That's a lot of grunts.
It is. And then there's your brutes.
Yeah, between this and Metroid Prime 2, they like I don't think graphics needed to be any more intense than this.
Right.
Anything above and beyond this was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, this is one of the first times they had games in like 1080p originally. I mean, now you have to
Mm.
get a remaster for the early 2000s when it comes to games, or because it will not be 1080 or 720 in a game from say 2004.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them are 480 at max.
Oh, I'll skip ahead a little bit here before we go over the new parts. But the one disappointment I had with this is you cannot play in campaign as the Arbiter anymore. I kind of understand why, but you played with it for almost half of Halo 2.
Yeah, I heard that there was a supposed reason that you couldn't do it because something with the game didn't allow for it. Something in the engine, but I don't know if that was even remotely true because I can't imagine this game couldn't be handled by the 360.
Right. I mean, it's an improvement. It's the start of a new console. I mean, you can have an Arbiter if you're playing co-op, so I doubt the engine is a restriction.
Mm,
It's just not the main story mode single player that you can play as Arbiter. But I mean, the co-op mode makes more sense because two Master Chiefs, nah.
yeah, the game would be over. It'd be like dumping a space marine in the middle of Doom.
Pretty much. Yeah. But that's about it. I'm just going to talk more about the other elements of it. So I'll exit this one and go back to the main one because this is where it goes into the arc. That is the big thing that they introduced in Halo 3. The the start of all Halo installations.
Holy moly, that thing's huge.
Yeah, so here's what it is. The arc diameter is 90,000 to 100,000 kilometers. They don't know exactly. It has more habitable surface area than the Earth does. But
Wow.
the inner hub, which you see right here in these pictures, is what creates new halos and teleports them to locations in the Milky Way galaxy.
Huh. I always thought they were just like rings that were made like well, I suppose on a space station, but I didn't think they were just like produced by this gigantic machine.
Yeah, the arc, it's it's crazy. I think the Shield world in Halo 4 might be the only thing that might be bigger than the arc because the Shield world is a Dyson sphere, like what you saw in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Hmm.
But it's there's dimensional altering inside the Shield world, so I don't know. It might just be a nuclear reaction under control and not an actual star that's contained inside. But the arc at the time of Halo 3 was just, I mean, I guess that's what they meant by the arc, because it's a place that's outside of the Milky Way to be safe from the halos going off. And that's presumably where humans and all these other alien species were put on, like Noah's Ark.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I finally played Halo 3 and saw this, I just thought I was flabbergasted at it. This thing's bigger than any of the Halos are.
Hmm. Wow. Well, it's definitely a superstructure, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's like in Star Wars where Wedge says, like, look at the size of that thing, referring to the Death Star, anyways. But yeah, there's a space battle over the Ark. I'm going to try and find that in a minute. But I don't want to spoil too much about this. So yeah, Arbiter's back, but you're not playing this him. So they're crashed on the Ark. So you can't see
Hmm.
a full thing of how big the Ark is, but you've got to destroy the Grave Mind.
It's a good use of a matte painting.
It is. I like it. So basically, the flood infested an entire Covenant uh, dreadnought, and this whole thing crashed. So you're going into what was probably one of the biggest Covenant carriers, and now it's all taken over by the flood.
Is that what all of this is?
Yes, it's basically the flood has covered it with the biomass, like xenomorphs cover it with their body.
Oh, okay, okay. That's like Zerg creep and whatnot. Gotcha.
Yeah. Shotgun's always good against flood, just don't run out of ammo. That's an infected brute. Yeah, something I was hoping I wouldn't see in Halo 2, but I guess you finally do see infected brutes.
I do like that the oh, and they ripped off the doors from Metroid.
Yeah.
I do like how the flood looks like a virus.
Yeah. Yeah, so more or less the grave mind talks to you and tries to tell you, don't try to destroy me.
Hmm. As all of these stories always go, there's always some
Yeah,
sort of higher intelligence that is controlling everything like a hive mind.
right. But, my biggest disappointment in Halo is if they ever decided, let's bring back the Flood using the same thing they did in Alien Romulus, because according to the lore of the Flood, they do not have to. Like, if there was another grave mind, it would be an entirely new creature because all it takes for a grave mind is an accumulation of infected creatures, and you get one.
Okay.
So you don't even have to say the grave mind survived what happened here if you ever wanted to bring the Flood back. Yeah, the hairy stuff on those Flood, that was a little interesting. Uh, ah, Obviously, also they have a single health bar. It's not they never quite went back to what they did with the shield and the health as separate bars in Combat Evolved.
Hmm. Yeah, I did notice that. I didn't remember that being the case. Because I swear I took a bunch of shots without shields and survived. I just didn't. Apparently, I didn't remember right. Because the last time I did borrow Halo 3 from an old friend of mine, uh, but I didn't get far enough into the story at all. Like I maybe a mission or two. That was it. I just didn't have the time to sit down and go through it.
Uh, I felt it was a good compromise. Like I said earlier with the weapons, I mean, I felt it was good to bring the assault rifle back and take the heat-seeking part off of the rocket launcher.
Okay. And what are these? Because these things are taking a ton of abuse.
Those are infected brutes. You didn't see infected brutes in Halo 2, but now you do encounter zombified
Oh,
brutes.
gotcha.
If you notice how they have big long arms like an ape, that's a brute.
Uh, okay.
Now the one
Oh,
thing
you hated the Brutes Chaos?
the uh, yeah, I'd hate them too, Chaos. They're huge and they jump. Uh, uh.
How is this thing getting into Chief's head?
Oh, because the grave mind, the more life forms that amass and accumulate, the more powerful the grave mind becomes. He has telepathic powers, obviously, for the flood, and he also assimilates technology. So at this point, he has assimilated whatever he needs to transmit and communicate with the chief's armor. So he's
Oh,
transmitting
okay.
to you
Gotcha, gotcha.
because unfortunately in Halo 2, the grave mind captured quite a bit. I mean, he infected prophets. He took uh, the High Charity vessel quite a bit. And now you're walking through the completely infested remains of a Covenant dreadnought.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. You need a lot of power to stop those infected brutes. And you also get the new kind of insect spider flood
Mm.
as well. As if them jumping wasn't bad enough, now they go on the walls and ceilings.
Glad you can make use of the energy sword pretty effectively too.
Yeah, it's a little easier to use for melee strikes, that weapon.
This had a battery in it, right? Like this thing only lasted so
Yeah,
long.
you can see in the upper right, that's on the sword. That's the amount of energy you get from
Gotcha,
the sword.
gotcha.
But some things you don't want to get close to, like the carriers, because their explosion damages you.
Mm. And they spawn more of the
Right,
flood.
they explode. You're right. You kind of need a plasma shot like a fuel rod gun, which is tough because fuel rod guns are limited in ammunition and
Hmm.
they're heavy. At least that took care of them.
Oh yeah, yeah. The energy sword was always kind of gnarly in this game. I'm talking about some precision shots.
Yeah,
Just turns around and pops two of the flood from the hip with the rifle.
the Covenant carbine, yeah, which I actually did enjoy. I mean, I know it's the counterpart to the battle rifle, but the rate of fire is a little slower and individual shots hurt quite a bit more.
Hmm.
Ugh. This part was tough. I mean, just it's tough to figure out where you're going. I guess. Oh, the compass, right? But it's a long
Yeah, but
trek.
everything's brown. Just
Yeah,
look like you just look like you're trying to find your way out of the world's worst toilet.
more or less. I was thinking ant hive, but toilet works too. It's like you're a tiny insect going inside an ant hive. How do you get out? Oh, shield, good. I'll go over some of the equipment you get in this game, but some of it works, like the bubble shield. Brute shot? No. Spike rifle? Maybe. But one of my favorite parts is when you actually use a spike rifle against flood. You can actually pin them to the wall, like, which just gave me the thought of calling it a nail gun.
Mm. Okay.
Stupid spiders. Yeah. I mean, I'll go to another part. Uh,
Okay.
there's the brute shot. So this is where, so to get to the arc, in this game, you have to find a uncovered dig site in Central Africa,
Okay.
which explains why the Covenant went to Africa in Halo 2. They're trying to find the portal to the Ark. So you're trying to get to the
Mm.
portal, and you have to fight your way through all these brutes to get there to the dig site on Earth. You have to go deeper and deeper until you get to the access portal. Because like earlier, it's outside the galaxy, so navigating to it doesn't conventionally work. I hate cloaked brutes.
Oh, good lord. Oh, well, he found it.
Yeah, so you saw a radar jammer here. That's good for the fact that it's better multiplayer because it makes everyone's motion sensor go fuzzy for a little bit so they don't know where people are without looking around.
Mm-hmm.
So it's useful. In the game, it's kind of useful for trying to sneak up on people, on enemies, but it's more useful in multiplayer than anywhere else. He's got a hammer. That's a spike grenade right there.
If that wasn't the most Indiana Jones kind of kill ever. Like,
Especially because
screw this, just sticks a grenade with him.
oh, the bubble shield right here. So the bubble shield stops the shots, but you can walk through it. They
Mm-hmm.
can do too, but if you're in a fire zone, the bubble shield really helps. But yeah, the guy had a hammer, you had a grenade. What's gonna happen?
Right. Hey, it was an easy hammer.
Yeah,
Now you can use it.
yeah. And as you can see right here, the hammer has a limited amount of energy.
Yeah, yeah. And even with that, it's still far more appreciated than any of the weapons in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Chaos. I liked the hammer too.
Yeah, there was a game mode my old friend had. It was called Golf, and everybody just there was one guy who had the hammer, and the rest of us were the balls.
The biggest sentinel swarm in history. That's what that is. Jeez. Oh, right, because Truth got flood infected.
Is Truth a Planet?
He's one of the prophets in Halo 2. He got flood
Oh, okay.
infected. Get off our
Oh,
planet.
343. Okay, I see how they got their name.
Yeah, 343 Guilty Spark from the original. But sadly, I don't know. I've been disappointed with 343 except for Halo Reach. And that's a prequel. You already know what's going to happen at the end of that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, the Puma. Forgot that Halo had a huge custom game scene. Oh, it was huge. Everybody knew about it.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the fact that they had it native to Xbox Live and the superior processing and data of the data storage of the Xbox 360. It was insane. Um, all the custom maps that people could have now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the
Yeah.
Spartan
I
laser.
yeah. The I remember the all the different game modes people used to come up with, like ninjas, where they lowered the gravity and everybody got an energy sword. So everyone would just jump past each other like anime and just slash and hope to God maybe they hit you.
Yeah. Shadow Master, all I have to say is that, the Xbox 360 and really going online, that opened it up to all kinds of mods. And that was the thing I liked about the older, Xbox 360 scene and or PS3 scene was then, because that was when they started being accepting of modding games. Oh,
He just Did he just punch a ship to death?
that's a Wraith variant with anti-air defenses.
Oh, okay. I thought he just punched a ship to death.
Yeah, he destroyed the Wraith because so there's a Wraith variant in this game that has its own needlers, but it uses
Okay.
the needlers to shoot down aircraft. So pretty good. So yeah, if you wanted to, you could rip that gun turret off and walk around firing the minigun from the Warthog.
Mm.
But again, it slows you down because of how heavy that thing is.
Which is so funny considering this dude's supposed to be able to canonically flip a scorpion tank with one hand.
Well, even if you can lift, it can still slow down your walking speed.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not the best weightlifter out there, but when I'm lifting, even if I'm lifting, say, and carrying 75 pounds, I'm not going to be sprinting with that weight.
Sure.
So I guess they're trying to do that. It's like, okay, well, it's so heavy, you're not going to sprint with that much weight on you, but you can
Hmm.
carry it.
Yeah. Forgot you can mod console games back in the day. Yeah.
You could. You definitely could. It wasn't very often. There are certain, let's just say there were certain game scenes, and Albellion and I might talk about Elder Scrolls because we both really like that series. But
Hmm.
yeah, um, with the Elder Scrolls and the Bethesda games, they weren't that friendly to modding off PC for a while. Custom mods, anyways. They did sell you DLCs if you wanted to, but not so much custom made mods. But now Bethesda's totally fine with it, at least for their Fallout. The Bethesda Fallout games, they're fine with mods, and they're actually
Hmm.
trying to cash in on it, which some
Yeah,
people
and
complain about.
anything to make a buck.
Right.
Yeah, and not all, all of the hacked Wii's that all had the homebrew channel and everything for playing
Oh,
whatever you wanted, or and
they
filling
emulated
the
on it.
storage with all the
Yeah,
retro games.
they did it too with soldering the Xbox hard drive for the original Xbox, but it wasn't legal and it wasn't something you'd be able to get serviced or repaired for if you did that.
Oh
You're
yeah,
on your own.
yeah. Well, if you could also figure out how to solder the hard drive into the Xbox, I'm pretty sure you were able to fix it too.
Yeah, I would think so. You know what parts to add, but no. Yeah, Halo 3 was for console modding, it was great.
Hmm.
But which is interesting because with the Master Chief Collection remastered, there's anti-mod mode by default.
Oh,
I guess they just want to prevent glitches, but
I'm sure.
You just turn
stabilize
it off.
the try to stabilize the experience.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more than when you're trying to play a game and you're having fun and then out of nowhere everything just bugs and breaks because,
Oh, right.
instability or incompatibility.
Even worse is you probably heard about the Bethesda modding and how badly they bugged the games recently.
Oh yeah.
Next
Oh yeah.
generation mod. Well,
I
next
I
generation
hate
update.
how bad that is. It's like that was like the main reason I stepped away from uh Skyrim. I couldn't handle it anymore. Every so often I'm just trekking across the plains or the tundra and then out of nowhere the game just shuts off on me and I'm like, what the hell?
That's crazy. I mean,
I hate it.
I played the GOG version of Skyrim, so I didn't realize it at first until I actually took a look and realized like, crap, the updates are messing with the game. Because GOG at least gives you they give away the vanilla versions of the
Mhm.
various games. But obviously it's vanilla, but it's up made to work on the operating system because I mean, without updates, I wouldn't be playing Oblivion like I was earlier this year without that.
Yeah. I mean, even smaller things really drives me nuts. Like my buddies and I we've been playing Lethal Company,
Yeah.
and Lethal Company has a zillion mods.
Oh,
And for as fun as the game is,
good
it's like
grief.
sometimes you'll just be going along and then out of nowhere, can't pick anything up. It's like
Oh,
you just can't do anything in the game and you're just like, why?
yeah. I mean, EA. You could do it with games from EA, but EA really didn't like their games being modded, and their statement was just basically, if you mod your games, it's up. We can't help you fix the bugs if it's caused by a mod.
Hmm.
Although to be fair, I'm not sure. With a lot of EA games being sports games, I don't know why a lot of people would want to mod like NBA 2K or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. The jailbroken Wii's were fantastic, but
Yeah, they were.
this is why Nintendo. I think this is part of the reason why Nintendo also doubled down on trying to uh,
Put security measures.
clamp
Yeah,
down on everything that they had because they were tired of losing sales from things. Because I'm pretty sure uh, the reason part of the reason they switched over and have far less uh, internal potential with the Switch is because of all the people that found out how to quickly and easily jailbreak the Wii,
right.
and and then they carried that over with the Wii U
Well, it's
because you
part
could
of
basically do the same
Nintendo.
thing then.
Like Nintendo is practices protectionism on their products because the way they see it is that they would lose the competition if they allow their games to also end up on PC. I mean, that's a
Hmm.
choice, and I don't agree with Nintendo in every way, but I can understand why. Because the arena of being shared on both console and PC, um, that's an arena where PlayStation and especially Xbox dominates, in part because Windows is also Microsoft, like the Xbox. So
Hmm.
I can see why Nintendo is protectionist about their games that they make. And I like the chopper too. This one, it's basically a four wheeler, but the UNSC finally gets something extra light for a vehicle. Yeah, Shadow. I mean, it's just Nintendo does it because they just feel that they would lose to their competition if they really put themselves in a similar arena. Um, I understand that to a degree. I don't agree with it, but I understand. I mean, I mean, if you're making your own game, like there are open source games such as Battle for Wesnoth, which is open source, but it's not AAA, and it's fun, but it's not AAA, and it's meant for people who like the older gameplay. Oh, here's the Hornet.
Hmm.
So with Nintendo, their whole thing is they just feel they wouldn't be able to compete if they weren't protectionist with their games against other AAA titles. Yeah, so the Hornet, the big disadvantage is it's easier to shoot the missiles at the ground below you than it is above you. But it's nice to see that the UNSC finally has air vehicles.
Yeah, air support after all this time.
Yeah, at least it's playable, anyways. But when we get into Halo Reach, you get quite a bit more about flying vehicles, which is why I enjoyed Reach as my conclusion to the Halo series.
When I get into game development, I'd probably make my games open source so they can mod my games with no problems. Yeah, it's at this point it's impossible to uh prevent modding. I think it's best to go into it because eventually someone will make it.
Right. I, eventually, someone will. And the highest selling game of all time is Minecraft, and as we all know, Minecraft is heaven for modding.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, there's so many mods. There are more mods for Minecraft than there are crypto coins.
you're right. And while a lot of the mods are free, there are mods for Minecraft that are on sale too, hence the marketplace.
Hmm.
So let's try more missiles to blow up the tank. I know we're having so much fun with this one, but I have to move on with my schedule soon. But
Sure, sure.
all right, all right, all right. So back to here. So I know I really don't want to go. I really don't want to go. We were enjoying this so much, but it's time to work on getting the last little bits of news. So next week, it's going to be, and this will be a different thumbnail when we get all set up on what we're going to talk about.
Hmm.
Uh, Favorite and most disappointing game sequels. So as I've shown here, it's part of why I felt that Metal Gear Solid was one I liked. A little bit disappointed with later System Shock games, but that's more or less what it is. What's coming up for you, Albelio?
Well, because of how things have gone, unfortunately, I don't have the time to finish the Rings of Power episode 7, and I'm really delayed on trying to get Jurassic Park out. I will have a video brainstorming and discussing what I think is going to happen with Hollywood for the at the least the next few years post election. That's the only one I'm going to have time to be able to finish.
Yeah, uh,
And then after that, I will be streaming tomorrow to continue Ecclesia.
good luck. Yeah, and I will be continuing today with. I'll be doing Lord of the Rings because I'm celebrating it in December, where they released the Lord of the Rings movies. I'm still not done, even though it's 20 years later. I'll be playing
Hmm.
Two Towers today
Nice.
live. So, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Um, we'll have another one episode next week for whatever happened to the game, and it should be very fun. And I hope you'll see you all, and you have a wonderful afternoon. All right.
All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a good day.